want to consent, please do not show your face, put yourself on mute, or feel free to exit the meeting. So if you continue, then you're consenting to participate in a recording that will be shared publicly on Facebook and post. So I'm now going to turn it over to Linda, our secretary, to do roll call. We'll start with districts. If you are here, you just say present because the microphone can pick you up. If you're online, you just say present and everyone can hear you here in the room.
Okay, welcome back. I'm going to start with District 6. Corey Edwards,
Present.
Eric Washington. Eric? Okay, Crystal Francis,
Present.
Justin Holiday,
Present.
Scott Haluka,
Present.
Paul Conca,
Present.
thank you. Ed Livingston. Ed. Okay, Renee Varela. Dr. Varela. No. Julie Sugar.
Present.
Harry Benderi. Harry Benderi. Elizabeth Brown.
Here.
Thank you. Margaret Forte. Margaret Forte. Nina McHugh.
Present.
Danny Blunt.
Present.
Jay Talisi.
Present.
Dolores Kelly. Dolores Kelly. Senator Kelly. Pat Kelly.
Present.
Danielle Smith. Danielle? Okay. Alejandra Ivanovich. Alejandra?
Danielle was just there.
Okay, Alejandra? Okay, Linda Dorsey Walker, that's me. John Herbst? John? Vanessa Carrington? Vanessa, you here? Tracy Miller? Tracy Miller here. I think she's out of town.
I'm
He's muted here.
Okay, good. Bob Benjamin. Bob Benjamin. Tara Ebersole.
present.
Thank you. Sam Moxley.
I'm here, present, thank you.
Thank you. Mark Weaver.
I'm here.
Thank you. Jason Garber.
Aki.
Thank you. Scott Sokol. Scott? No? Jeff Bonner.
Here.
Thank you. Katie Dot.
Here.
Ann George.
Here.
All right, moving on to 44B. Barry Chapman.
Present.
Barry Chapman.
Present.
Thank you. Aisha Khan.
Yeah.
Thank you. George White.
Here.
Thanks. Charles Sidnor.
Here.
Thank you. At large, Ruben Amaya.
Here.
Nia Duggins.
Good evening, President.
Thank you. Cheryl Gottlieb.
Here.
Roxita Gray. Roxita.
She's here, she's waving, but I don't think we can hear her audio.
Okay, Samay Kendra. Gotcha, Roxita.
Here.
Okay, Tamara Lucas.
Present, Tamira.
Thank you, Tamira. Danita Tolson? Danita Tolson?
I'm here. I'm here.
Thank you. Mark Brewster?
You heard the rest of them. Oh, they got
Mark?
five.
Is he here? Joan? Angie?
Hopefully the baby ain't break my mic. I ain't pulled it off.
Joan Mangy?
Yeah, she's here. She said her mic is not working.
Okay. Nina Phillipson?
Here.
Thank you. Charles Smith?
Here.
Tom Smith?
Here.
Gary English? Gary English? No. Neil Jennings? Neil, you here?
I don't see Neil either.
Okay, David Williams?
Here.
Thanks. And Sebastian? Sebastian Sadie?
No.
No? All right.
Did you get Danita?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Okay, can I have the names of any guests or other people who are not officially on the Central Committee?
Eric Washington is here.
And
Okay,
Margaret Forte. Good evening.
Robin Harvey. Good evening, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Leslie Grant.
anyone else?
I'm sorry, I have my mask on. Do you have me, Linda? Eric Washington?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
And-
thank you.
And myself, Margaret Forte.
And I've got you, Margaret.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Hi.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
So I've got two people down as guests, Robin Harvey and Leslie Grant. Is Sheldon Naskin here?
No,
No. All right, very good.
thank you. Okay, we'll go to the treasurer's report with Katie.
All right, I'm unmuting. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Hold on. It wants to do August 1st and we want to do July.
Yeah, so we have two.
Okay, all right, there you go. All right, so here I have the treasurer's report for July 2021. We started with the administrative account with a beginning balance of $907.95. We only had $3 in expenses for ending balance in the administrative account of $904.95. For the legislative account, we had a beginning balance of $25,052.60. We had a service charge of $3. We had the August rent, which is paid on the 15th of each month. We have a quarterly charge for the VAN software. This is a software that we use to take credit card payments, send out our emails, and to also do our canvassing. So that was $466.20. We are now being charged tax on a lot of these internet things. A credit card fee of $23.33. We pay a monthly fee to Google with tax now that's $6.36. Our total expenses were $1,123.89. The ending balance for the legislative account was $23,476.57. So together, our cash on hand for both accounts is $24,833.75. The change from July to August 1st is a negative $1,126.89. Crystal, do you want me to ask if there's any questions about July, or do you want me to go right on to August?
Let's see if there are any questions about this one. July. So does anyone have any questions for Katie regarding this report?
Jay Jalisi has his hand up.
Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to know this charge of $466.20 for
That-
NGP van. Is this an annual fee or is this what we are paying every month?
This is quarterly.
Quarterly,
That's
okay.
4 times a year.
So we pay what, about $1,800 a year? And this is for
Yes.
the county-wide access for all the districts?
Yes.
Okay,
Every county has to pay this for the software. This is from this is the Democratic software that runs our show. Like I said, this is, it has our emails. This is what
Right.
Crystal uses to send out our emails. This is what we use for canvassing, you know, the van where you go and you know, download if you're going to go canvassing the names of the voters, the Democrats.
no, I understand. We use it for our election campaigns. But
Exactly.
they charge it once every 4 years, and I think it's $2,400 or $2,500 for 4 years. So that's why I was thinking but you must have the county-wide access because they give us only for our own district.
Oh, interesting. That's
Yeah.
nice to know. Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
so for us, it averages about $30 or so. You know.
Yeah, I think yours might be subsidized also.
Right, but yeah, but it's a great software. And there's no doubt that it's needed. It's just, you know, I was surprised to see 466. But thank you for answering my question. I appreciate it.
All right. Anybody else? Okay, I'm going to stop the share. And then I have to go back over here, click on August, come back to the screen. And here we go. Here it comes. All right. For August 2021, we had a beginning balance of $904.95. We had no deposits. Again, we had our $3 service charge for an ending balance of $901.95. For a legislative account, our beginning balance for August 1st was $23,928.80. We had $2,150 in deposits. Our expenses, again, service charge, rent, we have State Farm insurance, which is yearly of $475. We had a credit card fee through NGP van of $22.50. Again, our Google, our total expenses was $1,131.86 for ending balance for the legislative account of $24,946.94. Our total cash on hand for starting September 1st was $25,848.89. Our change from August to September was $1,015.14. Does anybody have any questions? Jay, you still have your hand up.
Sorry, take it down.
Motion to accept the August and July reports presented.
Did I hear a question?
Well, wait a minute, let me call for it first. Are there any questions regarding the August treasurer's report? Okay,
Madam Chair, I move we accept the treasurer's report as read and as forwarded to all members in the email, subject to any kind of audit.
I second.
okay, it's been moved by Sam, second by Pat. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion carries for both. All right, so let me just go to give you some updates really quick. These are updates that I got wind of before I developed this agenda. So MDP is canceling the gala. So for all of you who thought you'd be going over to Lanham in October, I think it was like the 26th, it's been canceled. They're not going to reschedule it. They're just going to wait until next year to have something. We also, and we'll talk about this further when we get to the subcommittee reports, but you should have seen it if you're on party building, you saw an email come out. National Voter Registration Day is going to take place next Tuesday, the 28th of September. And so all of the 24 counties in Maryland will be participating in some way, shape, or form to have a day of action or days of action for National Voter Registration Day. And then we have a initiative that we are going to be spearheading in partnership with MVP here at Baltimore County, and you will hear more from Liz and Scott. They're going to be data and party building are going to partner up with that for us. We do have to participate, so there is no getting around it. As part of our contribution to MVP, all of the central committees have to participate in some way, shape, or form. So you'll hear more about the expected plans when we get down to subcommittee reports. Outside of that, we are going to move to the, and okay, thank you. We're going to move to our Unity celebration update, and so we'll go with Jason.
Can I just say one thing about the National Voter Registration Day on the 28th?
We'll be, yeah, we're gonna get to that in subcommittee
Okay.
report, yeah, the details. So Jason, is Jason?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead. We'll go to Jason.
All right. So just so everyone here is aware of all the things going on, there's been a lot of activity recently. Some of you who attended the meeting last night are already aware of these things, but I'll repeat some of it, some of the things mentioned last night here and now. First things first, our keynote speaker is Congressman Jamie Raskin, who graciously agreed to join us. Obviously, that's very exciting in light of our theme, but also because of all his activity and work. Certainly, he's been a, I'll just say, superstar in Congress and has done Maryland and his constituents very proud with all his leadership and activity. Our featured speakers are going to be Maria Town, who is the CEO and president of the American Association of Persons with Disabilities. Also, Maya Rockymore Cummings will be a featured speaker. And finally, Noreen Badawi, who is the Maryland Young Democrats president. Among our elected representatives who have indicated that they are going to not only attend, but give brief greetings and remarks, I should say, and or remarks, are Senators Chris Van Hollen and Ben Cardin, Speaker Adrian Jones, County Executive, I keep saying Adrian Jones, but that has to be double confirmed with, so I apologize. The understanding is she will, but we need to follow up again with her. County Executive Johnny O. Jr., of course. And we're still, and Congressman John Sarbanes confirmed again today. So we're just waiting on final confirmation from Speaker Jones, Congressman Robersberger, and Congressman Mfume. We will be having, for entertainment, performing artist Keith Snipes, who'll be doing spoken word pieces. Some of you may have seen him before. I know last year he performed with Danielle's Black Women for Biden event that we held about a year ago. And he was brilliant then. I assume he'll take that brilliance and apply it here as well. And also the return of the comedy show that we had last year, the debate. There will be changes in some of the people who will be performing, but we will be putting that on as well. In terms of where we stand with things, I understand with sponsorships, we're doing okay, but at ticket sales, we are really lagging. I'll have Katie, if she does not mind, speaking to those points, because she is more in tune with the actual numbers and whatnot than I am. Katie?
So we did have some good news today. I went to the post office and we got a bronze sponsorship from Adrian Jones and one from Kathleen Klausmeyer. So that actually gives us up to 2 silver sponsors and 9 bronze sponsors. So we're up to $12,000 in our sponsorship board. It's for tickets. We've only sold 9 tickets for $675. So we're really looking at $12,675. There seems to be a delay in our electeds coming forth and, giving sponsorships, and they're giving sponsorships that are less than what they did previously. And I'm really calling on all of you to go and buy a ticket, buy a table, and please, post our event on your Facebook or email, take the email that we sent to you and send it to your friends so that we can get our attendee list up.
Yeah, and I want to underscore that. We have obviously, I should say, we may have a special guest speaker as well, but I'm not going to mention it again until we get more confirmation. But we are trying to make sure that we are communicating that we have a very active Democratic Party here in the county, and it's very important for us to get as many people to buy tickets and to show that it's also something, since our theme here is to protect the vote. I take this very seriously, the things that are going on across the country, and I treat it with urgency, to put it mildly. Everyone should be alarmed about the things happening nationwide with respect to voter suppression. Obviously, voter suppression has been a continuing issue, since the dawn of time here. But the efforts today are rolling back even advances that we had 50 years ago and since, but also the attacks on fair elections and independent elections, election workers and administrators, and other such things. This is the stuff of horror movies, frankly, as far as I'm concerned. And we need to be in a position to be ready to address things not only here in the county, but to give help where we can in other locations that are experiencing some of these things more directly, and with communities that are going to experience it more directly. To that end, there are going to be many groups are going to be disproportionately experiencing the detrimental effects. Included among them, depending on the state and depending on the legislation that has been enacted or is proposed for enactment, you have, people who have difficulty, whether it's physically getting to a poll, or with new restrictions on mail-in balloting, or who can assist you at when voting, or for young voters in terms of further restrictions on college campuses and what ID you're allowed to present. For example, in Texas, you could present a gun permit, but you can't present a college ID from a state university, just to give some example. So all these things are going to come back on many people, and it's of course going to operate to the detriment of this country. I don't know what more I could say about it to raise an alarm and get people to see the urgency in the situation, but that's why we're making this theme about this event to be related to voting rights and protecting voting rights and election administration and independent elections. So please take this seriously, and please do everything you possibly can to spread the word, get attention to this, and get people to participate in our event, because I anticipate that our efforts at the voter protection program last year were only just getting started. And I'll tell you, that was a substantial effort last year. And it was a great response by the people in the county to participate, but we're going to need a lot more moving forward. So again, please do what you can to push ticket sales, to push table sales, sponsorships, and otherwise. I see Danielle has her hand up. Danielle?
Yes, I was going to say thank you so much for that, Jason. That was a lot of what I wanted to say. And so thank you for elaborating and letting us know as the grassroots organization what the importance of making sure we protect the vote. And I do want to add to that, this is not just, I know sometimes they try to make us think that it's just a black or brown situation, but it's not. It's also a situation, and people will be disenfranchised who are handicapped, individuals who are living in underserved communities, as well as individuals who belong to the LGBT and all the other letters involved. I'm sorry, I don't want to get them mixed up, communities as well. So we have to look at how this is going to, deprive a lot of individuals, and this may be our last chance at saving democracy. This is about our humanity, humanity and our democracy. And, I don't know, but you hearing at all levels that, how are we, the main individuals who get out here and vote Democratic, are going to be voting Democratic if we don't have a democratic society. So that was just my 5 cents.
And to that end, I think we need to be pushing on a state level here and elsewhere to aid efforts of, other groups and the Democratic parties in other states to do what we can to provide assistance to get state legislation in place, even in blue states, as well as, of course, nationally. So, Mark, I see you have your hand raised.
Yeah, what's the most efficient way to get people to buy tickets? Just direct them to our website?
So there's a link on Facebook. I've been trying to spread messages and with the link to the tickets directly, but also otherwise a message to go to our website to go purchase them. If you're asking me what is the best way to communicate that, it's obviously it would be more of a one-on-one personal situation to call people who might be interested to get tables together or whatever the case may be. But the mechanism is to either go through that particular event link on Facebook or the website.
Okay.
And I see it's also now posted in our chat. So I could go on about the urgency of the situation, the importance of the fight for voting rights, the history of it, and all that. But I could save that for another day too. I don't want to ruin all surprises. So please do what you can. This is from the bottom of my heart, this is something we really need to attack. Okay, I see Cheryl has her hand up, and then Ann.
Yes, I just wanted to remind people, because this is something that we haven't done before, that for members of Young Dems or College Dems, there is a $35 ticket price this year. Because usually the people who attend are quite a few years older than that. So we're trying to make this accessible.
Thank you. Yes. Ann? And George?
Yeah, here I am.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I was wondering, is there any effort to put a little more pressure on the clubs to ask for someone in each club that's responsible kind of to promote it among the clubs?
So we are obviously posting within their Facebook pages, and we are going to be contacting the right representatives to see if we can solicit their help, and not just limited to the club leadership, but also to others who may not be in clubs but are otherwise influential in circles who could help push ticket sales. And that would include elected representatives.
If you give me a list of contact people, I'd be happy to, if you think that's necessary, to kind of just go call and say, how's it going? How many people,
So I think that the start of it would be for those of us who are in the clubs to go to the leadership folks. Like, for example, I could contact Henry Caligari, right? For the
Right.
Central Baltimore County Democratic Club. Somebody in the Southwest could contact, the right people there, and North County there, and progressives and other groups. So we start within our own groups and then I guess see where that takes us. Now, I'm hopeful that with the social media push, because what we're trying to do is have new social media posts every day. For example, yesterday we announced that Jimmy Raskin will be our keynote speaker. Today, I went through the theme and the importance and urgency of the situation and what we're trying to accomplish and why we need them to attend. Tomorrow, I will be posting something about our featured speaker, or starting with the featured speakers, and go from there. So it's to get something that, on social media every day, post in multiple groups per day, in the hopes that this leads to something of a groundswell to get us more attendees.
Okay, we got,
Nia, you're up.
Okay, I just wanted to say, I know that Cheryl noted it and we are working to be more inclusive. I think one of the other things too that we should consider are folks who are on fixed incomes and seniors of a certain age to add in terms of inclusivity and have different rates, because someone on, you know, a fixed income who maybe we engage with and we help them get to the polls or whatever, may not be able to pay 75, but maybe they want to contribute something. And also we, you know, just emphasize, look, if you can't pay 75, we do accept donations to help us advance voting rights. So I think like the messaging too on that can be broad and inclusive in that way. We don't necessarily have to change our price this year, but I think moving forward, we should think about how we can be more inclusive of folks who, you know, are at different phases when it comes to income.
So I think that this has been discussed in the past, and I think the one concern or thought was, how can you discern where do we set a bar for being able to financially afford it? And then how is that discerned one to the next without trying to be, you know, too intrusive? I agree that makes sense for us to have that, to take reflection upon that and try to figure out how to do it. To date, we have not been successful in trying to figure out a mechanism to be able to do it. But yes, it's something that we should certainly develop and think about moving forward.
Jason?
Yeah, sorry, Katie.
Yeah, so last year, anyone who came to Crystal and had a financial need, we didn't ask, because we said if anybody says they have a financial need, there's no problem at all, and they can have that $35 rate. And actually, somebody commented on one of my Facebook posts that she couldn't afford it, and I contacted her. And I contacted her directly and told her she could have the discounted rate. So yes, you know, if, you know, I think we talked about this last year. If people are asking, we don't need to, you know, do an interrogation.
Right, but I guess from what I recall from it, there was also the concept of if you advertise that cost, then you.
What we had on the page was that if you know, you were, I don't remember the wording, but it was something that if you were looking in it for assistance to go to contact Crystal, and she had very few people contact her.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, and so let me amend my comments. My comments were reflected in the advertised prices about whether to advertise that, but obviously Katie knows more about it in terms of how it's been handled when the situation arises, when contacted.
So I can add that to the NGP page. So when they go to buy the ticket link, we can say, you know, I'll see what the wording was last year and I can add that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea because we do want to be more inclusive, or as inclusive as possible for sure. I see Pat Kelly has her hand up.
Wait, hold on, Jason. We're going to take some questions in the room as well, because there's some hands up here too. So let's try to go back and forth.
So are we starting with Pat, or are we starting in the room?
Let's start in the room, because the hand up in here was up before some of the hands.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Liz.
Yeah, hybrid meeting in action. Thank you, Crystal. Just quickly to go back to, and I hope y'all can hear me through my mask. But to go back to what Ann was saying, I would say yes, please call people. And I think the clubs are covered. I can cover Central Dems. You know, obviously we have people in North Baltimore County, and we've got Southwest, but we do have volunteers that have worked with us. We have, you know, their names and phone numbers, so we could certainly make a list out of that with a script about, hey, you've helped us, you know, please support us, and this is, you know, help us support voting rights. And I think we also have past donors, which may have already been called by Crystal or Katie, but I think we could come up with more. So if someone is offering to call, I hate calling people, so if someone's offering to call, I would say, hey, I'll help you come up with a list. So that's just what I wanted to say.
Thank you, Liz.
Okay. Anybody else in the room? We have the mic? No. Okay, go ahead, Pat.
I was wondering, Jason, based on the count that was given in terms of the number of tickets that have been sold, how much of a push is being done with our own committee? with the members of our committee, because I would think that every member of the committee, should be on board with this.
So,
And-
no, sorry, my bad. Keep going, please.
Yeah, that's just my concern. We have a number of people that's on our committee, so we probably need a special push with them to let them know that as members of the committee, we do expect them to support our endeavors.
So I do know that calls have been started and are been going around. I know that there have been other personal contacts from people that have gone on as well. But obviously, we were intending also to use this meeting to make that push as well. So the heat will continue to rise, so to speak. Because yes, of course. I mean, look, I have not bought a ticket yet because I know, though I'm attending, I'm going to probably do it sometime, this week, next week.
Right, same thing here.
Yeah, so I mean, it's going to happen with most of us here, at least. It's making sure that others in the greater community are aware of the event and, the need and everything else that comes with it. But also it's going to be fun. So for all these reasons, the first step, which is the hard one, was nailing down the speakers, because that's what's in large part going to help drive ticket sales too. But now that that's settled, that's when the larger pressure campaign here in terms of social media and direct phone calls, among other things, has gotten started.
Okay.
And I should mention too, I wanted to thank, particularly when it comes to the speakers, Danita Tolson for her efforts, Cheryl Gottlieb for her efforts, Danielle Smith for her efforts, Crystal for her efforts as well. And if I've forgotten anybody, I apologize. But they all undertook heavy lifting to get the speakers and make confirmations and undertake efforts to try to help us in that regard. And I also want to thank Danny Blunt for helping with the entertainment aspect as well.
Okay. So we have to move on from here. So please, we are, asking and expecting the full support of the committee. Even if you can't attend, don't be shy to leave a donation anyway and give it to a member in the community that hasn't engaged with us before. As far as the next part of the Unity Dinner event here, as you know, we always have a part in the program where we award individuals, and we are going to go through those nominations. We sent out a couple of emails to let you know that the nomination period was open. It closed on 17th.
Friday.
And I am now going to share with you, I'm gonna share my screen on who those nominees are. We're going to drop a link in the chat to a Google form. You're going to copy and paste that link into your browser to cast your vote. If you are here in the room, we have paper ballots, but you can also use the online one if you have your computer as well, but we do have paper ballots right here on the phone. So I am going to share my screen. So just give me a couple of seconds to get that up. And we will go through those nominations.
And if you can circle back up here for the rest of us.
Oh, here, I thought it was fast.
Oh, sorry.
No,
I got you.
Oh, okay,
Here you
okay.
go. There you go. You want one, Crystal?
I'm gonna use the online. All right. Okay, can everyone see my, we should see it in a few seconds. It's about to come up. Writing. All right, so here are our 2021 Unity Celebration Award nominees. So we had 4 categories. The first category was voter protection, voting rights, election advocate. We only had 1 nominee in this category, so Congressman John Sarbanes for the sponsoring of For the People Act. And here's just some, insight on the For the People Act. It was introduced as HR 1 in the House of Representatives. Of course, you know that our congressman, he put that official bill in, and it passed the House March the 8th by the party line vote. And then in 2021, the next session, 117th Congress, congressional Democrats reintroduced the bill. And of course, again, it passed the House with a near party line vote and it advanced to the Senate. And of course, we all know that the Republicans instigated a filibuster to kind of block the success of the bill, but we want to honor or recognize John Sarbanes for this legislation. So he's uncontested in that category. The next section or award was Justice Reform Advocacy. Everyone who served with Dana on the Central Committee in the past know who she is. She's the Executive Director of the ACLU, which is the American Civil Liberties Union of Maryland. And so many of you who participated in the lobbying this past session with the Maryland General Assembly knew that there was some groundbreaking police legislation reform. One that has, put Maryland on the spotlight as a state to look at as a model for police reform, because it's very difficult to repeal the Law Enforcement Officers' Bill of Rights. ACLU was one of the front runners in this lobbying effort, and here are a list of 4 out of the 5 bills that were able to pass into law. So kudos to them and for Dana's leadership. She's uncontested in that category. We have Democratic Advocacy non-Central Committee member, Dr. Sachin. Everyone knows Sachin. He's, he volunteers. He even volunteers on our fundraising subcommittee, but he's a longtime grassroots advocate, founder of Indivisible for North Baltimore County. He's also the president of an association out there in Hunt Valley. I think it's the Indian Association. And then, of course, he's been appointed to various things. But one thing that which is the reason why, is because of the effort that he has had in helping Democrats advance in winning seats and shrinking the margin that a Democrat can win in districts that have been held by Republicans. And so we just want to recognize Sachin. He's uncontested in that section. And then Democratic Advocacy Central Committee member, we have Danielle Smith, who's being nominated for her leadership, dedication, and community advocacy. Of course, she served as the immediate past second vice chair of our committee. She's representing District 10, has done a lot for the past 7 years on voter education and mobilization for the Democratic Party on both the local and state level. Does that for a number of national, state, and local organizations, and is just, you always hear her saying, have a seat at the table. And so you can just read here and, all of the things that have been mentioned. So basically putting in her time and effort, being able to advance, Democratic Party values, ideals nationwide. And then we have another nominee, Mark Weaver, who is being nominated for leadership engagement outreach. Mark is a member of the 12th District for our committee. He also is the president of Southwest Dems Club, and under his leadership was able to help grow that Democratic Party base over on that side of town. And now that club is serving as a hub for democratic activities in Baltimore County. And he's basically being nominated for just his work that he's done with, expanding the club over there, and as far as the volunteering that he does around the county for the environment, social justice, and also representing the Democratic Party, not only, at our events, but even in the community at local fairs and parades. So again, you can read all of his contributions. So that is the only competitive seat here or award here is for the Central Committee Member of the Year Advocacy Award, and that will include the nominations. Only 3 people submitted nominations: Sarah, Jason, and myself. We were the only people that submitted nominations. And so this is what we have. Okay. So I am going to stop sharing my screen here. And I am going to put the link to the ballot. The link to the ballot is going to be in the chat momentarily. Just give me a second to switch my screen back. So when you go onto this Google form, please use a computer or smartphone. Copy and paste this link in your browser. You're going to fill out the form. I will just give a couple of minutes. I'm going to be able to see real time what is happening in the online. And then also in the room, please fill out your paper ballot and we'll turn them in to the secretary to review. Oh, actually, parliamentarian, Danny Blunt, come on up here and read these. Yeah, right up here at the podium. Wait a minute, we gotta wait till we get the count in online though. I was gonna do online, but I'll figure it since I'm here. Keep them coming, keep them coming. And we will see how it's going. Keep them coming, keep them coming.
In the meanwhile, any of these people have entered the room, could you let me know? Renee Varela, Julie
No, let
Sugar,
me tell you.
Harry
Yeah,
Bendary,
so we really-
Dolores Kelly,
we really count.
John Hertz,
Yeah.
Vanessa
You just wanna-
Carrington,
Yeah. Like, cool.
Mark Brewster, Gary English, or Neil Jennings. Have any of those individuals entered since we took attendance?
I thought Julie Sugar since she was here, but.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Are we on mute? Yeah, Julie messaged me in the chat.
Yes, I'm here. I was present during the roll call and I did say present, but I guess it didn't get heard.
I'm here as well, Linda.
Okay, thank you.
And you got Scott also?
And Scott.
So,
Yeah, I already have Alejandro and Scott.
yeah, we had.
people are saying that they can't do the form. I just did it in chat.
They do it.
Can you hear me?
Can you unmute me? Yeah, okay, I hear you.
All right, so there are people who are putting notes in saying that they can't complete the form. And I hope what I did was all right. I just put the person I voted for in the chat to you.
So I'm the problem child, Crystal. I'm just going to text you my choice. If for some reason I can't sign into Google, it won't let me, even though I am signed in. So I don't know whether it's something
Well,
to
wait a
do
minute.
with.
You shouldn't have to sign into Google.
I know I shouldn't, but it keeps saying, you know, report abuse. So I tried opening it.
Report abuse.
So anyway, I keep trying to sign in. I have different kinds of browsers open and it's not letting me. So I'm just going to text it to you if that's okay. Is that all right?
So.
Or an email.
Can you just, how are you trying to access it?
How am I? I click on it and I clicked on it in the, I have the Edge.
Can you try to copy and paste it in your browser to see if?
Yeah, I did. I copied and pasted it in my Chrome browser and it gave me the same message. So it might be something because of my permissions, because I'm also probably, I've created some of those Google Forms, so I just don't know, but I've done both.
Okay, can you try?
I'll just email it to you. How's that?
Okay.
All right. I don't want
The
to spend
same
more time
problem.
on
I
this.
had to redo and do a new password and everything.
Yeah. So, but I'm already signed into Google, so I don't understand why it doesn't like me. But anyway, I'm just going to email it to you.
You already signed in? Maybe you just need to refresh your browser. Because I don't have authentication on.
You know what? I think that word there. Let's see.
Yeah, if you were already in, you probably just need to hit refresh.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So everybody
All right,
keep having that issue, just hit the refresh button, try one more time. Because sometimes you know how computers are. So we have 22 so far. Responses. So, you can put me on mute. So just okay, so is the refresh working because I see more coming in? The individuals that were having trouble, can you confirm if you were able to do it after refreshing?
I see
Did
Katie.
mine's come in, Crystal? I'm not sure if it came in under my name or under my husband's name.
Katie says refreshing work. Thank you, Katie.
So we have many more than 35. Yeah, we have 21, that's 24 people.
Danielle's worked, so it seems like refreshing
Okay.
is working.
Okay. Okay, so we're seeing them come in. So again, it's working for people, so hit the refresh button if you have trouble, and I'll give it one more minute.
The only thing, Crystal, I'm not sure if mine came in under my name or under my husband's name
Like the
because
name of form.
I'm on another computer. I'm on another computer.
No, but you had to write your name on it, so.
Right, okay, it came in then, I
Yeah.
think. All right.
What is your name?
So there are 42 people eligible.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you to add these.
There are 42
Going-
people.
Going once,
42.
going twice. All right, one, gone. Okay, so. Now, Jeff, can you ask if anybody who had trouble was able to use the form? Because if I got to count in the chat, it's gonna take a little minute. Can we ask them?
Okay, for clarification for everybody on Zoom, we just want to make sure we have all the votes accounted for. This is Jeff Bonner speaking. So for those folks that I know Katie was able to resolve hers, Danielle was able to resolve hers. If there was anyone on Zoom who was unable to cast a vote, please either unmute yourself and advise us of that or put something in the text. Again, we're looking for someone who was trying to cast a vote and was unable to do so for whatever reason.
This is Danita Tolson. I was able to do it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I appreciate that on Zoom. So we will then assume that everyone who wanted to cast a vote was successful in doing so. Thank you. And thanks for confirming that, Danita.
No problem.
Hi, on this type of vote, which is a non-administrative vote, everyone can vote, associate, full, and at-large members.
Scott Sokol's entering the room right now for your information. Okay, maybe he popped out and back in.
Oh, this is Nana. I haven't voted. Oh,
You don't have to, it's not. a
can I
requirement.
send an email? Who would get an email?
No, it's the link, use the link in the chat. It's a link, copy and paste the link in your browser.
I understand.
Jeff, can you help us?
Oh,
It might need to be posted.
I'll try. Oh, it doesn't want to.
You may be able to just click on it. That worked for me.
Yeah, that's what I just did. You're right. Thank you. Oh, wow.
While we're waiting, I just saw a bit of news that apparently David Simon canceled filming in Texas for his new show or whatever he's filming there due to the abortion restrictions and other such things going on in Texas. He's
Yay.
going to move it to another state. because he doesn't want to put women and others who could be at issue with some of the stuff there, to put them in an uncomfortable situation and make them have to put up with it for some period of time if they're uncomfortable being there. So go Baltimore, Baltimore zone, right?
Oh, I can't believe it.
Yes.
It worked. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
You know, and Jason, what you were saying, that it was great that some of the Uber drivers and some other companies have decided to put monies up to support women regarding the laws in Texas for abortion laws to help pay for their attorneys and things of that nature. So that was really good as well. And a lot of the companies, because of the mandates, are really glad that the federal government jumped in, because it gave them the reason to have someone to use as a scapegoat to blame it on when they had to fight to say, this is why we need a mask mandate. Did you guys see how some of the people were going like crazy and having the fights and all in New York and some of the restaurants?
Yeah, so the hostess was attacked. I mean, it's great. You go on a vacation up there and then get into a fight and get thrown in jail.
Yeah.
Well, it's a different way to go see New York, but okay.
And a couple of them that they named were from the states with a high rate of COVID, and they're not, I mean, they really, I was just in Texas a little while ago, and they really are not used to wearing masks. They don't wear the mask at all.
Well, the most important part is we now have a doctor that stepped forward early this morning to say that he performed an abortion and said, use me as the test case.
Yeah.
So they needed one person. They needed one person to be the test case.
He's been sued already, by the
To
way.
the Supreme Court.
Would he get life? Would he get, what if they sentence him to like life or something?
No, it's $10,000.
Oh, it's
per
$10,000.
fine.
Oh, okay.
Per
Yeah.
unlimited numbers of people, $10,000 fines. If it were upheld, but it's not going to.
Well, the abortion clinics are a separate issue, but the doctors that I know in Texas say they are ignoring this law. So we'll see what happens.
I'm sure he's not the only one. He's just the one that said, make me the test case.
Yeah.
It's pretty gutsy.
It is. It is.
Well, to mandate that with abortions, but you don't want to mandate on masks, that's interesting, to say the
Yes,
least.
very interesting.
The federal government, you don't want them to control you wearing masks, but you want to control not having babies, and then you don't want to pay for certain programs for kids when they're here, when they're hungry, and they don't have anywhere to live and they're orphans.
Because they're pro-control, not pro-life.
Exactly.
Yes.
Pro-life has an entirely different meaning. Anyway.
Well, who was that? Filiano? I can't remember her name right now. She was on The View. She was a Republican. She had ran for office before, and she was making some of the statements citing that if you're pro-life, you should be pro-life for all life.
Yeah, I mean, that's at least consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah, once the kids are born, they cut them off.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point.
Barney Frank said they're pro-life from conception until birth.
That's a joke.
Sorry, y'all, it took so long. Yeah, okay, we're done. So we'll go to Danny. Who's gonna read the results of the,
What I'm gonna do is just talk about the categories real quick. The voter protection, voting rights, election advocate, we know that was Representative Sarbanes. The next section was justice reform advocate, and that was Dana Victors. The Democratic advocate, non-central committee member, is Dr. Sasha. So the last award is the Democratic Advocacy Central Committee member, and here are the votes. Danielle Smith, 27 votes. Mark Weaver, 7 votes. Ann George, 1 vote. Linda Dorsey Walker, 1 vote, and 2 abstains. So Danielle Smith is the winner of that award in the category of Democratic Advocate Central Committee member.
thank you, Dan.
I will say both, of course, are very deserving.
Yes.
Well, anybody who's nominated, including the ones who are written in, all of you have done exceptional work over the last year for sure.
Yes.
And it's greatly appreciated. I know by Crystal, by myself, by Liz, Katie, and I would say Linda, she was one of the people who was actually named too. So obviously she was appreciated. So thank you all for all your work.
Congratulations, Danielle.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. I am surprised and humbled and very appreciative. And everyone was so deserving, and we all work so much to do what we call our democratic duty. So thank you all so much.
Is Crystal talking? I'm not hearing anything.
She said, we don't have to worry about anything else. She's got it. We're all good. See everybody in December.
Take you at your word, Jason.
Yeah.
I know that sounds good, Jason.
Let the drinking begin.
Yes.
That's what I'm getting. Is, y'all can't hear me?
Now we can.
Yes,
Oh,
now we
okay.
can.
Oh, so what I was saying was,
Ask the people in the room if they can hear you.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'm sitting here screaming. So I guess, I was trying to get us out. I guess that wasn't gonna be. Look, so I'm gonna try to make this quick. We're gonna move through the subcommittee reports. That's what I was saying. And the first one up is the office report. We're here. The office is open. We are trying the hybrid meeting. It is turning out very well. I wish you could see what it looks like. We see all your beautiful faces on the television that's hanging from our wall. Last week, we now have the internet installed in here. So if you ever come in, the Wi-Fi passcode and all of that is on our whiteboard. Democratic clubs have been reaching out. They want to start having meetings. I know progressives reached out. So one of the things that we're going to be doing now is asking for a contribution to help us assist with keeping this room clean, because we all know that COVID-19 is no joke. And once we start opening the office up for use, we're going to have to start to get frequent cleanings. So we are going to request a nominal donation of $25 for use of the office to help us contribute with cleaning the space. We're also going to let clubs know, with the, what we're expecting as far as room reservation policy, So we created a Google form that people will have to fill out so we can make sure that the room is available for use. Of course, the third Tuesday of any month is off limits because that's when we meet. And
Per use.
and it's gonna be, the fee is per use because again, we're gonna need to get cleanings done to make sure that we don't have any issues with germs and COVID-19, because as it currently stands, your chair has been coming in here weekly to clean and vacuum and wash the toilets. So we want to hire somebody that's professional to do that. We are going to, you know, post that information. So if the clubs want to meet, we're going to have a discussion about what the policy is as far as cleaning up. It was very, very junky. If you could see this room now, it looks totally different. Took a lot of hard work from committee members that showed up for our spring cleaning or fall cleaning day. We want to make sure that the room stays decluttered. So we're going to be asking people to take their trash. If they're going to have food, they need to take it with them because we don't have access to a dumpster. And the guy next door who had a dumpster has a chain on it. So we wouldn't even be able to try to dump in his thing, even if somebody wanted to, because he has a chain on it. We aren't on the pickup line for trash, so we're gonna again let the clubs know what that process is, and they're just gonna go to our donation link. We prefer it to be a credit card transaction just because it's just easier on the chair, and the treasurer to keep up with that because it's just crazy. So that's that for that update. And again, we'll continue hybrid meetings until, you know, so more to come on that. Any questions about the office update? And we did get Wi-Fi. I don't know if I was on mute. We do have Wi-Fi now installed in the room. So if you have any questions, let me know. Okay.
How many, Danielle wants to know how many people are at the office tonight.
Oh, George, do you want to do a pan? I'll let George.
Hang on.
No, I was going to say, I was going to donate some cleaning, some supplies, like if you need any wipes, Lysol, Clorox. I have a whole container and I can donate.
All right, George, you ready?
Donations are always welcome.
You got it.
So wave, everyone, wave. These are all the,
Stick your head in there.
all of them you probably never seen in person. Well, you have seen. Don't forget to get y'all some. And Jeff and George are behind. So thank you to Jeff and George for helping get this, you know, it's very unique to see the different cameras. It's really nice. All right, so enough with that. Let's go to fairs and festivals. For the update, we had a busy month, and I'm still recovering from all of that work. Okay, go ahead, Linda.
Okay, well, we've had a number of different activities that we participated in. Number one, we participated in the state fair. And luckily, this time, we had a much higher profile. Everybody that regularly comes to the state fair, you have a much better profile. We had participation from people from around the state, which is one of my big things that I said I really wanted to have them do. And we had candidates from around the state who brought their campaign staffs and volunteered. We had George's group, the seniors, that came in for at least a day or two, I think, that took over. And then we had just a variety of people from this state central committee who stepped up to the plate and were there. We added a spinning wheel, which added a lot of things to, you know, the giveaway aspect brought a lot of people over to our booth because they could hear that wheel spinning, and that drew them over. And then when they came over, they found cutouts of the president and the vice president and Barack Obama. So we had a selfie unit that was set up and people really were attracted by that. It was a mob scene. The state fair this year was a mob scene. And it was also, even though we weren't there for the second weekend, or really what was the third weekend, it was extended for an additional 3 days because so very many people attended this year since they didn't have one last year. Similarly, this past weekend, we had the African American Cultural Festival that was held right across the street at the Justice Plaza. Started off kind of slow early in the morning because, and you should know this, up until mid-July, the event was not supposed to occur in person. It was supposed to have been a virtual event. So they literally had fewer than 8 weeks to get everything done, to sell vendor booths and get licenses and get entertainment, and all the things they had to do were done in less than 8 weeks. And again, once afternoon came and the crowds came out, it also was a mob scene, especially toward the end when Freddie Jackson was going to sing. So we had quite a large number of people who did show up. Some of our elected officials came and stayed for hours. I want to thank Cheryl Gottlieb for coming. She came and sat in the sun and refused to move out the sunlight because she wanted to do her part. And so many other people came by with their families. Aisha came by with her family. Robbie Leonard came by with his family. A whole variety of elected officials came by with their families. And they took pictures at the selfie unit. Jeff was there and Crystal, and they stayed until the end, and we packed up and got out of there before we were run over by the mobs.
Yeah.
So literally.
Yeah.
So it was a good experience, really good experience. What I was gonna.
Yeah, let me just add while you was on a thank you. So first, I have to give a shout out to 2 gentlemen. One who got up in the 6 o'clock hour and had to go to work, dragged himself up here. Is Eric Washington still on? He's probably teaching in class right now. Dragged himself up to the office to help me lug these huge, you should have saw my car. It was full to the top. He had to drive all the way home to take another shower so he wouldn't be late to work because I had him sweat out. So, and then Jeff.
Amen.
Yeah, and then Jeff stayed, he was supposed to actually leave at a certain time and he realized there was no manpower and little old Crystal was gonna have to put all the stuff back in the office. So he stayed past the time he was supposed to help me pack that up. So thank you.
And also George was there capturing almost every one of those selfies that were taken. He also took pictures. Had a little accident with the camera, but things look like they worked out okay. So I really thank you.
375 pictures.
375 pictures.
And then finally, if you saw our tent and our display, it was stunning. I mean, people complimented us, so we want to give a special thanks to Aisha. Yes. She bought this tablecloth and the tent that goes
matching
with it.
Tent.
And I mean, it just looked amazing. Everyone complimented the setup and, you know.
So we gave away tons and tons and tons of candy.
So just to share, I also did a Facebook Live of the event. So when the speakers started giving out presentations and all of our elected officials made their speeches, I ran Facebook Live for probably, I guess that was about maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours, just to capture.
And
so that's online as well.
So we gave out just this little giveaway gifts, something that's called the Clapper Slapper, which are these little handheld things that clap together. And I'm hoping that we will be able to order some additional ones, this time in blue and white, that will say, "Give the Democrats a hand." So I couldn't get them ordered in time for this particular event, so I had to get just the plain ones. But I think we need to order sufficient ones for future events going forward. Because this layout of the format, I think works really well for us. So my car, my daughter's car is still packed to the brim with all that stuff that we brought and had to take home. But I thank you all.
Yay. So let's go. We're gonna skip fundraising because we already had fundraising earlier today. We're gonna go to Liz's party building.
Yay, okay, let me turn off my mute button. No, it's just so weird. I'm disoriented, but anyway, Hopkins makes really thick masks, so hopefully
I know.
y'all can hear me, but at least I won't get COVID or let's get not. But anyway, as Crystal was saying, September 28th is National Voter Registration Day. And there is a phone bank sponsored by Maryland Dems. And I just heard from Justin Butler right before coming here. I had some questions because, I mean, you know, we could go to that and call people and it wouldn't be the end of the world if we were talking to people in Annapolis or Montgomery, but we do want to focus on Baltimore County. So basically going to this statewide phone bank, it's a virtual phone bank. You sign up for shifts on Mobilize. And unfortunately, I can't get on my computer to copy and paste the link, but I will just email it out to everyone and put it on Facebook. I want to ask everyone to please sign up for a shift. If you can't do a whole shift, do part of a shift. They're during the day and early evening. And so it'll be fun. We're going to be calling people in Baltimore County who are not registered to vote, but there's data that the Maryland Dems have gotten that tell us that these are likely Democratic voters. One of our strategic goals is to do targeted voter registration. And so, you know, obviously going and setting up tables in different places and doing random voter registration is great, but we really want to focus on those people that we think will vote. We've got to get people voting in the primary for the best possible governor candidate. And of course, we need to take Annapolis back, but all the other you know, offices as well. So it's really, really important. I don't want people sitting there thinking, well, we're Baltimore County and, you know, Democrats, it doesn't matter. No, we need more Democrats always, all the time. And the cool thing is that the data is broken down by precinct, which is something that we've all been really interested in because we know we're going to have redistricting. So, you know, even if we don't know if a certain area is going to be this district or that district, we can just focus on the precincts. You know, it's anywhere from like maybe 400 people in this precinct to 200 in that they've got, you know. So I don't know, I looked at the top 10 lists that Justin sent, and 2 of the precincts are in the current legislative District 6. So I'm like, yes, let's get them. So I think we're probably going to end up prioritizing the areas where we really need to shore up our Democratic voters. But as far as I'm concerned, I say let's get all 22,000 of them. So it's going to be more than just the phone bank on Tuesday, but we want people to go, we can compare notes and figure it out. And then we will continue to set up Baltimore County specific phone banks. And also, if anyone is interested in canvassing, this data is actually made for canvassing. I'm seeing a hand from Nina. Is that okay if I?
Okay, so I did sign up for shift, but other people probably have this question. Is there a location that we can come to phone bank together? Because I know at home, after doing a long day at work, I'm probably not gonna have the motivation to do it at my house. So I would love to be like with other people. Can we come here?
I can open it here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Which shift did you do?
I'm doing 5:30 to 8.
Okay. What I'll do is, well, I mean, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll collaborate, Liz, and I can open the office.
Yeah, the 28th, which is
Tuesday, next Tuesday.
Yeah. I know some of y'all really prefer canvassing. So, you know, if we were all in the room together, I'd get a show of hands on that, but we will take the temperature. We're going to be doing more than just the 28th, but the 28th is a really good, like, let's see if this data is any good. If we get a lot of Trump supporters, maybe not, but yes.
I did want to say that on the 28th, that same day, I'm already committed. I was already pre-committed to work with the League of Women Voters we're going to be doing a in-person voter registration at Solace Point Multipurpose Center, trying to get the people in Turner Station.
Oh, nice.
Put the time down, sir. We'll send
Okay,
that out in
I'll
the
send
email.
that out, but
Yeah,
it's
so-
gonna be in person one.
Okay, and then let me just add this. For those of you who don't like to call people, because I know some people don't like to call people, I think you can text as well, because I don't like talking to strangers, but people text me. I get these texts all the time. And I'll text back, you know?
I love text.
So you don't, there should be an option for texting because it was last time. I know I was one of the texters. So if you don't want to get a real person on the phone and you don't mind texting, it's a way to do it where it won't show your number. It's going to show a fictitious, number. So consider that as well if you don't like to talk.
Yeah, I prefer texting. I just didn't see it on that email, but I'll double check it. If it's not available next week, we'll get a text. And
Yeah.
I was wondering about that because, yeah, I know they've worked on getting more cell phones into the van in general, which was kind of cool for 2018 when we were, campaigning. So, yeah, so please, I will share that link. And so if you can, I understand many of you are out registering other people to vote. So that's the one excuse we will accept. But, it's during the day, it's also during the evening. So there should be a time, even if you hate it, try it for 30 minutes. We just want to see how this works and get everyone to compare notes. And then party building will get with data to kind of figure out how to prioritize. I sort of have an idea of what I think, but want to also get Scott and data teams perspective on, because I think we're going to do all 22,000 and maybe we will, but we need to prioritize because we're doing it by precinct so we can get really granular. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you look at the current edition of League of Women Voters, their magazine, they've actually got a picture with me doing the voter registration at Randallstown Library, and the one after Solace Point soon thereafter is going to be at Owings Mills Library. So let me know.
Nice.
And Liz, we have from the Zoom, we have 3 individuals with their hand raised. We have Danielle, Scott, and Cheryl. So why don't we go with Danielle first?
Yeah, I think hers is up by accident.
Oh,
So go to
okay.
go to Scott.
How about Scott?
Sure. So I'm starting to. I looked on Van and I've got an email and I'm trying to figure out how to do it. Because another thought would be, and Tom Smith may have some sense, this may also be a good project to try and get the people who like the postcard on. I mean, if we have addresses and we might be able to contact people that way. So at the moment, it sounds like only the state is able to kick out the list. I'm trying to figure out how to get access so that we can identify those people as well.
Yeah, I tried searching one of the precincts and I got 100 fewer. I didn't know if it was because of my suppression. So that's something we can get with Justin Butler on. I don't know if you emailed them but yeah. Yeah, that's a great idea. So we're going to take these, we're not just going to do it on the 28th. We're going to start with that and we're going to keep going.
Yeah, we will keep going, and we're not just like Liz said, there will be canvassing opportunities. We'll do the postcarding, we'll try to get texting. We want to cover all bases because we know it's going to be a very, 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 very important race. And with redistricting up in limbo, I mean, it may be late figuring out where people reside or where they're going to be. So we need to get on this early to ensure that we're getting commitments for people to vote Democratic and to register Democratic, because as she mentioned before, these are likely Democratic voters. So our goal is to get them registered as Democrats, connect them to the party so they know we're here if they want to volunteer, and then make sure we get, use this information to keep them engaged throughout the year up until election.
Any other comments or questions or?
Well, I had that one as an agenda item.
Cheryl has her hand up as well. Cheryl?
Yes, so my comment was also postcarding related. So we're pretty maxed out, the dedicated postcarders with Virginia right now. But what I think would be interesting, if we could have data on the people who we spoke to that then didn't follow through. The Virginia election is November 2nd. So like then we could spend the month of November when that is all over, saying, hey, we gave you a call, last month. We're following up now, with a postcard. But we'd have to be able to have, I don't know how quickly the data from the Board of Elections gets updated. So it'd be something to look into.
Yeah, I love that idea, because as Crystal and I were both saying, we want to, this is a long term, and I mentioned that to Justin. He's like, yeah, it's not just, so yeah, I mean, if we, I mean, yeah, there's several thousand, so even if we don't get to someone right away, or if there are areas that are not canvassable and we don't want to call them, those are also very good.
Yeah, I feel like this would be better for texting and phone banking as an initial contact, and then do like chaser postcards to the hard to get people.
I like that. Yeah, so the postcard is the beer to the whiskey of the phone call. Did I get that right? Is that the
Okay, all right. Back to the chaser. Is that like on the box?
Neither on the box because you would lie.
Okay. I was gonna say there's also going to be an effort, I forget the person's name. There is a person who's now assigned that's from Baltimore City that you may have heard of, Crystal, who has been assigned to be the new person in charge of making sure that people who are coming out of prison, something I worked on years ago with Doc Cheatham, who are coming out of prison, of course, they have the right to vote, so long as they paid, completed their sentence and so forth. Now they want to actually start getting them ready while they're in prison. So this person is going to go into women's prisons, they're going to go into men's prisons, and when people are within so many months of being released, they're going to get them signed up with the voter process and start doing voter education in the prison.
Wow. Yeah, and Maryland Alliance for Justice Reform, another organization involved with that. So, yeah, we definitely want to educate, because there's also misconceptions about who can vote. People on pre-trial detention and things like that. So we want to make sure that everyone knows their rights going forward. And I think Legal Women Voters also did a session on that. So let's move on to, Liz, does that conclude y'all take?
That concludes, that's the meeting event.
Okay, thank you. So let's go to communications, and May, you're welcome to come up to, he already got you set up. You're welcome to come up to the front if you want, but whatever you want.
It takes extreme close up.
Yeah, I wanted to put.
Yeah, just let it go. Yeah, that way we can.
Yeah, we had a full face shot of Samay for a minute.
I was a little too close.
You ready? You want it on that one or this one?
All right, we good? Okay.
You're good.
All right, cool. So hey, everyone, Communications Committee update. Nothing major. Just a couple things that we asked of you guys. One is that, especially with all these events that we just had, if you have any photos that you thought were really good, we started a media drive. That way, when we make newsletters or try and make posts, we have like a plethora of photos to choose from for that purpose. So if you have any, just email them to me and George, and we'll get them added to our drive. And just know that if you give us those photos, they may get used on social media. So if you have anything embarrassing, don't send that. Also, I think this was sent around a while ago, but I just want to bring it up again, especially since people have been mentioning different events and stuff throughout this meeting. We have an events form. It's a Google form. If you fill it out, it just asks for, it takes 30 seconds. It's just basic information about the event. That way, communications can make a graphic, can make a Facebook event, can make a post about it to help out with boosting attendance and just letting people know instead of it just being shout out at meetings, maybe lost in emails. So please use that. Linda, I'll send that back to you so that you can recirculate that link. So please use that, because someone, I think Ruben, took it up that every couple weeks or every week he's gonna check that form, and any new events on that form, we're gonna make a graphic and stuff for and get that posted on our social medias. Along with that, with social medias, our new plan that we have is we're gonna be making a common post once a week across all of our social media platforms, just to give some consistency as to what we're doing on social media and to just bring and highlight some issue or news article that's going around. So to that end, if throughout the week you come across any major piece of news, or just you have some idea about what we could post about for that week, just text me or George and let us know. No guarantee that it'll be picked, but it'll be something we consider and we think about what that one post for that week is going to be. And we are looking for more people to help us out with the newsletter and with our social media posts. So if you're interested in helping out, we'd really appreciate it, especially as things get busier. We know we're going to hopefully end up doing more than one post a week on social media. And the more people that we have helping on that, the more consistent we can be. That's all I have, unless anyone has any questions or comments.
So the information that you said throughout the week, what specific information? Is there a limit or a type of information?
Yeah.
Is it only local, state? Is it national? What kind of information are you talking about?
Yeah, great question. So it can really be anything. In the past, I think we posted once about where in Baltimore County you can get vaccination. We did that a couple months ago. I want to say we did like a national, something about just the Biden infrastructure plan. So, that was national. So it really can be national, it can be local, as long as it has some relevance to, what we're doing. And it's not like, I don't know, Republican.
Somebody's baby shower.
Yeah, as long as it's not a baby shower or something about Trump, it'll probably be posted. And again, we're doing that just so that we start having consistent posting on all of our social medias, and our social media starts to look a little bit more cohesive with some common posts. Great question, Linda. Anything else?
George, you want to talk about the video?
Oh, yeah. I like this stuff. Just wanted to kind of piggyback on what was said. Some good stuff going on in the communications committee. What we worked on, Crystal and I, a couple of days ago, worked on the video for the Unity, and it came out nice. We just want to tweak it, and if you got time tonight, we'll tweak it, but it'll be out in the next day or so. But also, just to, as you can see, we have a screen here. I would like to just start, I don't want to start a fun enough, but I'd like for us to have a big flat screen TV for our office. So as we go into the year, I'll probably be going around asking folks to donate a little extra, and I'll donate it, just to kind of bring our office into, you see the direction we are going. And I'd just like to get us a flat screen, as well as continue doing what we're doing with the voting. As you know, I'm the vice chair of the Maryland Diversity Senior Council. And we're working on things with the seniors. I'm part of the Woodlawn Senior Center on the executive committee. So you'll begin to see information come out about seniors. I don't know if Jeff want to mention about what he just got sort of moved into position. I mean, he wanted to do it, but the veterans. Talk about that, Jeff.
Sure.
Just the Veterans Committee Council for the state of Maryland.
Thanks, George. So as George mentioned there, obviously he's working as the vice chair of the Seniors Diversity Leadership Council. I have taken in communications with the Veterans Diversity Leadership Council, the Veterans Council as it's known. So I'm kind of working in Baltimore County with that council. So Danny and some other folks, George and myself, and some other folks are going to be working with Party Building Liz to try and get the veterans out and get them more involved in what we're going to be working. So we'll talk more about that for sure. Thanks, George.
Okay.
All right. So financial review. So as you all know, we had posted RFP. We did receive an inquiry, but we didn't receive a proposal. I know Linda's gonna look. I forgot what I was in the community. I did see Ben Brooks' son, who took over Ben Brooks' accounting firm. He told me to email him the RFP, and then there was a gentleman who stopped by the tent at the African American Festival, who gave me his business card, who does financial work as well. So just got to try to get a proposal out of these leads. All right, so that's that. So again, that the financial review committee did work hard. I'll just reiterate that they did fine 3 companies. However, the executive committee was not willing to approve the cost of $6,000. So we created the RFP in hopes to find someone else at a cheaper rate. So that is why we have not accomplished that goal yet, but Financial Review Committee did do everything that they were required to do in a timely manner. And they're, just on hold until they have no further actions at this time because we don't have anything to present to them in terms of a proposal. So thank you to Leslie, Tamira, and Sheldon for their work and being patient with us as we try to navigate this and get this financial review completed. As far as data, look, Scott, I know you weren't at the festival. So I just want to reiterate, data is working with party building, but there's also something else I would like data to do. I ended up attending Howard County Democratic Central Committee's event. They did a straw poll on the Democratic governors and who the people would likely support. Their poll was a little, it wasn't statistically significant. So what I want us to do here in Baltimore County is to do a similar straw poll, but I want to do it a little bit differently, where we present the information, have sit-down conversations with the governor's candidates, try to do one-on-one, like little video snips to see what it is that they're offering, and then do a straw poll. It's a big idea that I have. I'm not going to reveal too much because I want to just make sure I cover all the bases with the necessary people. But I want our straw poll to be statistically significant. So not only Central Committee members, but registered voters that are in our database, and try to make this survey something that can be accessible by all voters in the county. So Scott, I'll connect with you to try to figure out how we can design some survey questions around who, they would likely support as governor for just the statewide races at this point. So governor, comptroller, who else am I missing? Those are the 2 big ones right now. So we don't have to bite too much of the apple, but people are very interested in those races. And the saying goes, if you want to win, you got to have Baltimore County. What is it? Baltimore County, Montgomery County, Prince George's County, and Baltimore City. So we are a big stake in this election, and we want to be able to be a hub where people can know that they'll get reliable data from. So that is something that we'll work on going forward. And bylaws and nominations that don't have any report. However, I would like to let you know that Emily Cook is resigned from the Central Committee effective the 16th of September. She was unable to, she's, dealing with something on her own personally. And just let us know that she is not going to be able to commit the time that she knows is needed for 22, and ask that we accept her resignation, in which we did. Sad to see her go, and we thanked her for the contribution that she made primarily with fairs and festivals. So if you see Emily, just give her your well wishes. And bylaws, there's no real report. As you know, we're still on a stall with the code of conduct because we want to see what the state's doing. I'm on the state code of conduct committee. And I will tell you, they are, they're looking at a similar model, but not making it. I took back some of the comments that we received from this committee when we did it ourselves, because we were one of the only committees that actually got further along in our process than some of the others. So I did bring that feedback that I received from this committee to help inform that process as well. And they're listening. Jeff.
Crystal, Jay Jalisi has his hand raised on Zoom.
Okay.
Jay?
Yes.
I was just, I missed a little bit of what you said about the financial review committee and what was holding the work. Can you kindly repeat that for me for a second?
Yes. So as you know, the bylaws require a financial review to take place before the next administration goes into office. So before we took office, the new executive committee of financial review for the prior year the prior administration was supposed to have a financial review done. There were challenges with COVID-19, taxes, everything. So the committee before us was not able to get that done. So that's what we're trying to do so that we are compliant with the bylaws. The financial review committee is the group that originally solicited vendors who had a skill set to be able to conduct a small financial review. It's not an audit, it's just a review. And the quotes were coming in at $6,000. So that information went to the executive committee for approval because it's over the spending threshold. So the executive committee has to approve that. And the executive committee did not approve that amount. Instead requested that we look for someone cheaper and not to exceed the $3,000 for both of those the years that need to be audited. So it's basically cutting it in half. And so we decided to post the RFP so that we can get more competitive responses. And we had like 2 people express interest, but we asked for a proposal to be submitted so that we would understand how they intended on conducting the financial review. And we
So
have
is the RFP on the website, or how do you find the RFP?
Well, it's down, the period's over now, it's down. It expired in what, August?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's down. So now it's not searchable anymore because the period expired. So since we didn't receive anything from that, I contacted the Maryland Democratic Party to ask them for assistance on suggestions on what they could recommend in terms of someone with the expertise. They recommended their, company that they use, but again, that company would be, expensive. And so she gave me some leads. One in which I had explained earlier, I ran into Ben Brooks' son, and then a gentleman, we interviewed someone for at-large position. Linda recalls somebody had that skill set. And so we're trying to reach out to folks that will probably give us a competitive rate, because if we try to contact the CPA firm, they're gonna charge the $6,000. CPAs are gonna charge that. Their rates are like $250 an hour sometimes.
No, if you contact some of the people who do campaign finance reporting for the Democratic delegates and senators, 2 names are coming to mind that I can share with you afterwards.
Please.
Good idea.
Yeah.
They can probably give you a discount because they are Democrats,
right,
who do this type of work for the senators and delegates in the assembly. So I think that they should be, they shouldn't be just being, acting like CPAs with their regular rates, but they should be able to give you a discount.
Yeah, if you can help provide some leads. Thank you.
That's why I was asking if there was some specific things you wanted them to do.
I will send you the RFP. They are expired, so just tell them to ignore.
Yeah, I mean, anything I can do to help would be.
Yes.
And then I have one more question. I know it's almost 9 o'clock and everybody wants to. So my question, the other one was, you mentioned something about the code of conduct and the bylaws.
Go ahead.
So one of the things I wanted to make sure is you are including is the Central Committee members for the Democratic Party should be supporting only the Democratic nominees in the general election.
And
if that is not the will of the Central Committee, that is fine, but that needs to be clear. So that's applicable in every district.
No, that is going to be in there. That has been brought up at the state meeting. So that's in there.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I did have one thing to say. You mentioned that Emily Cook had resigned. Emily was a member of the 8th district. So therefore they have to do the filling. So that would be Harry Benderi, Liz Brown, Margaret Forte, and Nina McHugh.
Yes. So yes.
And just one other thing. So you're free to interview people who are male or female. If it turns out that the person that you select, however, is not a female, then that would mean that we would have gender imbalance again. And that's when the nomination committee would have to select someone.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to clarify, we as a group, as a district, can pick any gender. However, if the gender is not female, then the nomination committee then has to select a female as to put.
We got to
No,
rebalance.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
correct.
okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
So just wanted to clarify
I mean,
that.
I'm
So
fine.
because there's a time frame, and so you should be aware that the time frame is starting to tick now.
Yeah, but we'll get, I'm gonna send you the email you need, District 8. So we're gonna send you the email And
It has to
then
be advertised.
it
and all
has to
that.
be advertised. So, you know, the same way that we advertise ours, it's just that instead of the nominations committee, the district is the selectors. And then the same process, you select a person, it still has to be ratified when we ratify your selection at the next central committee meeting. We, now, if since we talked about gender balance, and I know we're at the top of the hour, so I'm gonna make this quick. If we do get imbalanced in gender, we need to rebalance by December before the next state meeting.
Mhm.
So that doesn't have to take place so soon after, but
Yeah.
we, you know, don't wanna lag, cause we got Unity Dinner, Thanksgiving, Christmas. So we wanna try, if that happens, just start to think about that. Jeff.
Crystal, we have two Zoom participants with raised hands. We have Ann George and Mark Weaver. Ann, go ahead with your question, please.
Make sure
so I have a question. I know we're all busy getting ready for things and everybody's been working hard, it sounds like, with all these activities. However, we have a gubernatorial election coming up. And I think it would be really a mark of leadership for the Baltimore County Democratic Committee, Central Committee, to schedule a series of opportunities for Baltimore County Democrats to listen to major counties, candidates, Democratic candidates between January and June. I don't know, I know the last time people came by, but a lot of it, I saw the candidates more in club meetings, which is good. But I think this is people want to say, well, what does the Central Committee do? Why should I, want to support our efforts? I just think the problem is having a place big enough. I don't think it would be appropriate to have in that area right there. I think we're going to get a lot more. I mean, if you have the likes of some of these like Perez and Westmore, you're going to get big count. If you publicize it, you're going to get a lot of people there. So it could be the libraries, or I don't know. But is there an interest in that? Or do you feel that should be relegated to the clubs?
No, we're gonna do that.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we're gonna do that. That's customary. I mean, when I was alluding to, I have a plan that I have in place. That was what I was gonna talk about, but not too much detail because I still have to work some things out to see if it can happen the way I'm envisioning it. But at a minimum, all of the candidates are going to address the Central Committee. So we're gonna start having our monthly guest speakers. I didn't want to have one today because we just had way too much with Unity Dinner. When you get through that, they'll be addressing the committee, during our monthly meetings, but then there are some things that we want to do to, again, position Baltimore County to get to know who's running so that we drive out the Democratic vote. And that would be tied to, again, the straw polling and everything, but we'll have opportunities for people to know the candidate.
I would like it to, these candidates, I would like us to be seen as leaders, not just to have these candidates address us, but be able to encourage other, we're making contacts through all these events that we've had so that we can invite people in and see this. I think people say, it's like we and they, you know what I mean? And
no, we're definitely gonna have some public forums. That's what I said. There's some things I'm trying to work out to determine whether, like, how it's gonna happen, where it's gonna happen. I have a really big idea and I want to do some collaborations as well with the city Central Committee and Howard County. I'm just working those pieces. So once I get all the information I need and get a solid plan that I can present on, regarding the idea. But yes, we will do that, Ann. We're going to do it.
Thank you.
And we have one other hand raised from Mark Weaver. Mark, go ahead with your question, please.
Hey there, I'll be quick. I know it's late. There was, I believe, a rule that was passed to allow clubs to appoint an associate member, and that was contingent on the certification of the clubs. Sounds like, I think there's a lot going on, but is any progress on the certification process?
So let me say the last part of your question again.
Yeah.
The rechartering, you mean?
Rechartering, thank you.
Yes. Yes, the stuff is done. I sent it over for proofreading to Liz, the Google forms. I'm gonna write you.
My bad.
That's okay. Yeah, it's okay. We're not in a rush. I mean, we are, but we're not. Yeah. So the forms are done. Yeah, but we want to make sure that we don't have any typos because I'm a type of person, I can't see my own typos even when they're screaming at me. So yes, the recertification emails are gonna be going out, and on that form, Mark, it's gonna say, because the way it is now, the president of the club is the representative. The president has the ability to designate someone else if they know they're not gonna be coming to our, meetings. And I also wanna introduce something different so that they have a role, because we don't want people just sitting here for the sake of twiddling their thumbs. Yes, they're gonna get information back, but I want the clubs to start reporting to us, what is it that they're doing? And not all of them, maybe this month it'll be Southwest is coming to let us know what's going on. Next month it'll be, but we wanna try to have a process in place so that that person isn't just a warm seat, but they actually have a role in keeping us informed and we keeping them informed as well.
Also, I would like to see some of the clubs on their own organize a away meeting that they organize it, they set up the venue, and then we can show up.
Yeah, so that was another, and I know this is the last idea, I promise. So we want to try to, again, to Linda's point, have more district level involvement. For example, there's a club, Battle Grove. I've been making sure because, we had to they elected a new president. Y'all know all the rumors that they have a new president. But we need to make sure that we're engaging. So we want District 6 folks to just be there so that they know that we're there and the same thing. I know it's gonna be hard depending on different points in the county because traveling to Towson is far. Luckily, we have a virtual format. But yes, we want to try to get more district level involvement where the district members of our committee are engaging with the clubs in that district. So that they can feel the support, because that's what I'm hearing. When I'm going to the clubs, they don't feel supported. They'll say, I haven't seen the members from my district in a meeting in X, amount of time. So that's something that we want to change. I know it's COVID right now, but when things, and we've been going to going to the picnics. I've made sure that I've attended as many events as I possibly can to make sure that we are, making sure that they understand that we're here to support, because we have to work together as a team to get the results we want in 22.
Yeah.
And beyond.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Okay. I know y'all tired. I've been up since 4:30 a.m. This is I promise, 2 minutes. This is the last thing. We have to talk about redistricting. It's so important. The last 2 minutes and we're adjourning.
Okay, as you know, I sent out a notice to everyone letting them know about the various meetings that are being held through 2 different entities. The Governor's Maryland Citizens Redistricting Commission, and that's been meeting since early in the year. And they're now just completed last night, the end of round 2. Round 2 was the opportunity that regular citizens like you or I had to develop proposed redistricting maps. You could submit a congressional map or a legislative map or a Senate map. And I submitted something. I submitted a congressional map and I've been asked to submit a legislative map. Because my position that I've taken is that we should stick with multi-member districts, I'm just going to submit a senatorial legislative map, and then that will be used as the basis for the legislative. So if you want to see the map that I submitted, you can go to their site. It's map number 1036. It's duplicated. They put it down also as 1037. And I don't have the map number yet for the second map that is going to be coming. And someone asked me today about working on the county council map, which, as you may be aware, 20 years ago, I worked on the county council map And the county council lines that have existed for 20 years existed because they fully accepted my map 20 years ago. And then 10 years ago, they decided to change just part of one district over near District 1 and District 4's line. So I'm going to be looking at that again. And I'm asking that you all please get involved in the process, not just with the governor's one, which some people feel will have a slant to it. But last night was also the first meeting of the legislators redistricting advisory council. So it's RAC, Redistricting Advisory Council. And they had it in Prince George's County. Unfortunately, it was only 32 minutes long, whereas the other meeting was 2 hours and 15 minutes long last night. But know this, on November 3rd,
Write this date down.
November 3rd, they're going to have a public hearing in Baltimore County, and they're asking for everyone to show up and express their opinion about, and you can show up with your own maps. Okay, so you can look at some of the maps that have already been submitted. Many of them are online at the redistricting site for the governor's one. You can tweak what you see there or change one of them around. Some of them are in shared drive. Mine is in shared drive. And you can come in with your own redistricting map, or you can just come in and say, I support what she submitted. And so that's up to you, but understand this is our important opportunity to influence how things are going to go, because the lines have to be changed this time. Because 3 or 4 years ago, we were taken to court and they said, absolutely, Maryland is out of compliance because of gerrymandering. And so because of the 7% growth around the state, but 13 and 15% growth in parts of Baltimore County, there's no question about it. Our legislative lines are going to have to be changed. So please take an active role in it, get involved in it, listen to the hearings when they take place, and also continue sitting in on the Board of Elections meetings at the state level and the county level.
All right. Okay, y'all, so we have a major charge. Let's make sure we're a part of all these processes. Linda, she's been attending the redistricting meetings as our representative so that they know the Central Committee is represented for Baltimore County. So thank you, Linda, for that. So that concludes, I'm sorry we had you long, but at 9:13, I'm going to entertain a motion to adjourn.
Madam Chair,
Oh, yes, sir.
I just wanted to point out, I put a link in the chat. The Governor's Commission, that they've already put out maps. And if you were to look at those maps, they've tried to pack the minority community into one district on the west side.
Yes.
I mean, this just kind of gives you a look into what the governor is attempting to do.
There are 40.
And we can, and I'll just to give everyone some comfort, the legislature controls this process, not the governor.
Yes.
I understand.
And we want to make sure.
Yes.
Because the November, Senator said
November
is the legislative, right?
Right. That's what that you want to make sure you show up for that.
We definitely want to make sure that we're going to be there in big numbers to support that.
But understand this, there are currently 42 different, so there is no one map. Anyone telling you there's one map is wrong.
Right,
There
so
are
which
42 different maps that are online right now. So the job that
No,
people
he's not
have.
saying that. He's saying that they're going to submit a map.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yes.
The job that people have is just use that as a kicking point and say, I like it or I don't like it, or I'll start from scratch. But you don't have to start from scratch if you see something that certainly what I submitted is not what the governor's office submitted, because I was strictly looking out for Democrats.
Go ahead, Julie.
I just wanted to know which map number are you referring to, Charles? Because I'm looking at the page and I wanted to find which map. There's so many links.
Oh, I was looking at the I think it's the second list the draft maps for congressional and Senate district plans.
Okay, and which map number do you know?
It does not have a number. It says draft illustrative alternative map for Maryland Senate districts.
Yeah, that was drawn up in June.
So I don't know, and you can chime in on this, Senator Signor, but I think what he may have been referencing, and this is what I got because I've attended about 6 of them. And the last 2, when the young man was talking about the maps that the governor had proposed, even the young man who was describing and going over and trying to tell us about the maps, he seemed like, in addition to others who were on the call, were more in line with what the governor was proposing. So that's why I like sitting in on these meetings, because it's interesting. Sometimes you just sit in, you don't say anything, look, see what they said. But like Senator Signor said, if you look at the lines, they were really clumping some of the communities. And even when they were so huge and so widespread, they would take other parts of different districts and put them together when they were far, but take the ones where some of the more underprivileged communities and Black and brown communities, where they were just pounding them together. And then they were trying to decide whether or not they were going to change some of them, the areas with the city and the county, depending on how they were going to, do those as well. So it is interesting. And like they said, it would behoove us to make sure we participate to find out what's going on.
Yes,
And come up with our own map.
Yeah, and make sure you pay attention to those lines, like Senator Sidney said, because people are going to try to slide this pack and then, because they're they can't pack, they can't crack, they can't do all this stuff. So even if you don't want to be involved, just educate yourself in the process.
Yeah.
And make sure your district community members know when these meetings are happening, because when the Maryland General Assembly has their session, we want to make sure we're showing up to let them know that we are paying attention and to give whatever feedback they allow us to.
And the good part about what's happened so far is, even if you don't want to submit anything, and even if you disagree with the governor's votes, this is a learning process. They have put out an enormous amount of information, and some of us who have participated have learned a lot more about redistricting. So that's always a helpful thing, to make yourself well educated.
All right. Okay. So with that, thank you so much. I'm going to entertain that motion. Danny Blunt is so moved.
Yes, motion to adjourn.
Is there any seconds?
Second.
Second.
Look, everybody in this room raised their hand. He's running up before y'all. I'm in here by myself now. It's been seconded by Jeff. Okay, everyone. Good night. Thank you so much for your time.
Good night.
Dinner, because that's the next event.
Everyone have a great rest of the
And
week.
thank
You guys be safe driving home.
Yes, thank you to those who are buying tickets while I'm meeting. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Take care, Robin.
You too. Congratulations.
Thank you.